Okay. Hey. Hello. So I'm here. About to react to the Joker trailer. I know I'm very late, but this is my first like real kind of stream or recording at least, and I've set up my equipment. I'm recording this on OBS, and it was a lot of tinkering, and hopefully I've ironed out the kinks. I'm sure I'll find some later, but so this is as a test as well as just like a reaction to the Joker trailer. So I hope you enjoy. Thanks.
Arthur, does it help to have someone to talk to?
My mother always tells
He's
me
such a sad boy. I can
to
relate.
smile and put on a
Relate to
happy
the
face.
depression. Very working class. Like
She told me
giving
I
your
had a
mom a
purpose
bath. It feels like a very like
to bring laughter and
Latin,
joy to
Southern
the world.
European thing. He has a shitty job and he gets picked on by shitty people. Fuck, dude.
Is it just me? Or is it
He
getting
looks so
crazier
creepy.
out
He looks
there?
like serial killer here. Oh, this is so heartwarming. Man, even the Joker can pull really hot girls.
What?
That awkwardness of a laughing in inappropriate times. Oh, that's so creepy. Oh, we got the fucking like Wall Street guys. Fucking fuck these guys. Man, sometimes society just treats you this way, man.
Gotham has lost its way.
You just gotta dance in front of a
What
mirror.
kind of coward would do something that cold-blooded? Someone who hides behind a mask.
Just, yeah. No, leave Bruce
I
alone.
used to think that
He's
my life was
famous.
a tragedy.
He's a folk hero. That's actually a great way to look at life, honestly.
Now I realize
Why be sad
it's a comedy.
when you can laugh? Oh, Slay Queen. Best drag ever.
If you just smile.
Okay, so this is an excellent trailer. Even I think even if people weren't really that interested in the Joker or like DC film in general, this is a fantastic trailer. You have at the beginning, it really grounds the film. You know, he's talking to a social worker, and you know, she mentions like, is it helping you like therapy? But like as anyone who's taken therapy or seen a psychologist, it's like or a psychiatrist, it's like it's really common to just not to feel like it's not really working, you know. And it sucks because like there are these resources, but it's sort of like if your underlying problems are not getting better or they're not solved, you're not really gonna feel better. And sometimes it does feel like no one really understands you, and talking to a therapist seems like a waste of time. And it's just really hard to open up to a therapist, you know, because you know, while they may be accepting, but you're kind of afraid, like, what if I open up too much and then they like they get me sectioned or something, you know, they get me institutionalized. So yeah, there's that distance, but you could also see it in her face, like she feels like sorry for here. We can review back. So you can see it in her face that she feels like that she's trying her
Arthur,
best, but
does it help
it's
to have
not
someone to
like
talk to?
enough. Um, and you can see, you know, you can feel like the underfunding that's happening. How like dreary like the office looks and stuff. So it's a very like how do you say it, it's just how underfunding works. It's government. So we can go here and look at the scenes. So yeah, of course, like I think a lot of people, or especially men, yeah, but I'm assuming women as well. But I think most people have had this sort of walk when you're kind of like purposeless. You're kind of like, it's grinding every day. You're exhausted. Maybe it's coming home from work, and you sort of just, you're like, what's the point of all this? Like, just the grind, the grind, the grind, and it's like it just feels kind of hopeless and very lonely, of course.
My
So we
mother
keep going,
always tells me to
and then
smile.
so I think a lot of people get like weird reactions from this when they see this scene. I think it's actually like quite interesting because it's sort of like a level of familiarity that is, I think it's very uncommon in the American culture, mainstream American culture. But this sort of like more um like duty to take care of your parents, even, and that might involve like some more like um you know it might involve some nudity. And I think I think what this informs is that they might be have some immigrant roots. Maybe the mom is from another country, or maybe they just grew up like in a ethnic enclave in Gotham, which is kind of, it's kind of similar to New York. So I think this kind of informs not just like that they might have like different cultural background than the mainstream American culture, but also like this is more common like in um like in working class situations. Working class people don't have money to hire nurses and to hire um healthcare workers to take care of your parents. So you at the end of the day you have to do it yourself. Someone has to do it. And if they can't do it, then someone has to do it. So although so this scene can be, you can interpret it that way, and I think it kind of gives that information. But it also, I think it, like with the apartment being kind of old, you can also like inform that this is informing their economic situation, maybe their cultural, their cultural background. But it's also like going into the psychosis, like, maybe there's an unhealthy relationship or attachment to him and his mom. So it's sort of like, none of these ideas are like that settled. So yeah, let's keep going.
And put on a happy face.
I don't think it's that weird, honestly.
She told me.
Yeah, so here we have that notepad, a lot of writing. I don't think some people online have looked like, have paused and zoomed in, enhanced. But there are some good writings from what I remember. Like one of them was like the worst part of being mentally ill is that you're supposed to pretend you're not, which I would say that's not the worst part, but it's definitely like a really bad part. But I don't really want to go too into it because it's hard to tell whether the director really like thoughtfully put in quotes, or whether what it's unclear whether it was meant to be seen.
I had a purpose.
So so this definitely like informs his economic situation. So these jobs are kind of, they're seen as, I think they're probably not very well paid. They're sort of like temporary, like seasonal. So and it's also like it's also kind of like a last resort thing, because it just kind of sucks as a job. So this might imply that he might not be able to get employment anywhere else. Maybe he has like a criminal background, or maybe he just has a lot of trouble finding employment. So it definitely like informs how he forms, maybe not even the working class, the working poor. So and yeah, but I think it also like goes to show that these are people that we like to ignore. Like the sign spinners. So it's kind of interesting.
Bring laughter and joy to the
But even then, despite all that, he seems like very, very happy. Like he finds joy and happiness and where he can.
world.
Until, yeah, of course, like he finds people who are bullies and because he's different will mess with him. And again, this is, not uncommon behavior in in a rough urban environment, a rough city. And just people in the margins. It's hard. So yeah, he gets
Is it
assaulted.
just me?
Oh, here he looks so creepy. He looks like a straight up serial killer. But yeah, I guess it's just losing that much weight.
Or is it getting crazier out there?
Okay, so I really like it from here on. Like this song "Smile" by Jimmy, I'm forgetting the name, but this is a really great song. And yeah, it's sort of like, with the smile, it's the motif of like, because Joker's a clown. But it really shows like, that him and his mom, despite being very poor, despite having like, just being like down in life, like they still try to be happy. It's very heartwarming, honestly.
Though your heart is aching.
And again, it's sort of that relationship. Again, maybe it's not as common with U.S. American culture, but like say in Mexican culture, which is like my parents are Mexican, and so it's sort of like, if there is no man of the house, if the father's not there, then the son becomes sort of the man of the house, and if the mom's lonely, you sort of dance with her. It's sort of like you sort of fell into that role. Yeah, again, like usually it's not. Usually it's just it's just family. It's being healthy, but here you never know because the Joker's weird. So
Even
yeah, here he is on a date,
when there are
visiting Arkham Asylum.
in the
And I really like this scene as well because it's very like a lot of this film is very like, or this trailer is like, and this film as well, it's very much like it's sort Gotham is like a reflection of like the urban feelings of like American cities. There is a mental health crisis in the US, and I think the director included this scene because he's saying like, this is what mental illness looks like, and we like to look away, but this is what it is. It's horrible.
sky, you
Just a weird. I've been I've worked in public service jobs with the government, and definitely like you get a lot of crazies, a lot of wackos out there, and yeah, I definitely feel for Paperboy there.
What?
if you smile to your fear.
This is very much like laughing when it's inappropriate, but but still trying to fit in.
Sorrow smile.
So yeah, I guess he's working here as a clown. Maybe it's his dressing room,
And maybe tomorrow.
and you sort of see like, where the sadness and the desperation sort of slowly starts turning into anger, and just resentment, and it's you can get into the dark mindset. So again, I think this continues like the class like references. So here we have the Joker sort of laughing, and these Wall Street like privileged like former frat boys are just messing with him,
What's so funny?
because they're just bullies again, and they think everyone's inferior to them. And yeah, again, it's a lot of class commentary. you know um they're probably drunk, and this is why they're using public transit. uh so besides the fact that they're just mean people, but shout out to the subway, shout out to public transit.
Freak!
Yeah, so you can just sort of see he eventually breaks. Like probably most people would break And you sort of just see, him running away from society, not really knowing, like, but sort of having a breakthrough and dancing. And it's sort of like when your mind is, when you're suffering so much, you sort of have to find your way to cope. And if that's dancing in front of a mirror and looking at the ceiling, maybe, that's your way to cope.
Gotham's lost its way.
You gotta find the beauty in life.
What kind of coward?
So he probably definitely deserved getting kicked out of there, but I think this is more like class commentary on like how exclusionary like rich areas can be, cultural areas, like government areas. So yeah, he gets kicked out.
Would do something that cold-blooded.
Then yeah, in the U.S. when you have guns, it's really easy to do very bad things on the whim.
Someone who
Yeah. So I think, here you see that the gun is sort of like a source of power for him. It's a way to take control or to feel comfort in this world that he doesn't control.
hides behind a mask.
So I think that was Thomas Wayne. And then here we have the cops. This was this was the year before Black Lives Matter. So, but still, you have cops, and then you have criminal. So, who is getting away, and you don't really know who to root for here, do you? So I don't really get the scene. I don't know why it was included in the film or the trailer, but yeah, that's Bruce Wayne, and just it's an uncomfortable scene. Here he almost looks like a folk singer, He almost looks like what's his name? Bob Dylan, or just another folk singer. But I did, I think he's being a comedian. But it's sort of like he found some fame, he found some appreciation, and this is his dream, and maybe things are going well for him.
I think that my life was.
And this reminds me of Breaking Bad, Bryan Cranston, in that first when he's like in his underwear, in his tidy whities.
A tragedy.
I didn't really like that scene because the CGI just doesn't work for me. So here we have he's in this talk show. So all the colors look really, really good. There's a classic feel to them. I'm literally blanking out on his name. From Taxi Driver. Yeah, I'm blanking out the name. Here we have, just a year later, this would have been, kind of accurate.
I realize.
So he's running, getting run over. Now, I think there's record pedestrian deaths in the U.S., so fairly accurate. I don't think the director was making a point on the pedestrian safety, but that's what I see, Sometimes art is what you make of it. He's painting his hair. I don't know. Is this a transformation? Should it, Bob and Eureka go visit him? So we have, this is his boss moment. He's his girl boss moment. He's finally empowered in full drag. Here we go. Dancing. So in the film, I remember that scene being modern music, and I don't remember, but it was a rock song, like an old rock song, like maybe 80s or 70s, and I thought it was a mistake. I felt like the tone didn't fit, and it should have stayed with like classical music or orchestra music. Yeah, Joker. So a great. I like that the transition is like the elevator closing. Great trailer, fantastic trailer. So yeah, I think this trailer is one of the biggest reasons why the Joker made so much money, and why people were just so excited. So going to the film itself, I thought it was really good commentary on a lot of social issues in the U.S. I think, it was a film that you don't really see a lot now in blockbusters, but had some depth to it, which, and it was both like a look into society, into both Gotham society and its reflection on our society, and also just on, things like mental health, mental illness, like poverty, the family dynamics, um, into different culture, like cultural groups, subcultures, looking into like public services and maybe how underfunded they are, into, yeah, again, into bullying, into like feeling like an outcast, into you know what can drive people to violence. So I thought it was really good in that it analyzed, or it like dove into all these issues. I thought the ending, like the last maybe half hour or so, after like the spoiler alerts, the revolution stuff, I thought that was maybe less, like it made kind of less sense. It was more fantastical, but overall the movie was still grounded. I feel like it could have maybe used one more, like re like just look at like cleaning up the script and tightening out the themes. Overall, though, the film was fairly good, and it was a nice change of pace from the Marvel films that were coming out, and are still coming out, that are quite a bit more shallow. Um, and yeah, so I think there's a sequel coming out this year. So yeah, I'm excited about that. I'm definitely gonna see it. I hope the themes are a bit stronger in the sequel, because this is like the first one was a really good setup. It was like a new hope. So I'm hoping that the next one is even greater, and it can be an Empire Strikes Back. It would be a great, and if this sequel does a really good thing, then like wait, maybe we can get a trilogy, and it would be like it'd be kind of cool. You have a Batman trilogy and a Joker trilogy, and but this movie really has to be good in order to justify like another one, because I think the first one being like that good and making that much money convinced the actor, I know his name, I'm just blanking out on it, like the main actor who doesn't do franchises, to come back. And because I think at the end of the day, like a lot of actors who say they don't want to do franchise films, like you know like, and at the end of the day, I think it's just because, like, well, first of it, it can be a lot of films, and a lot of the writing is garbage, like Transformers, Terminator, um even Star Wars is very shaky to bad writing, and a lot of Marvel is, it's, I wouldn't say your average Marvel film is bad, but it's definitely like kind of like mediocre to average. So if you're a really like auteur, if you're an actor that likes working with auteurs and like making like really like kind of like unique films, then yeah, franchise isn't for you. So the fact that the actor is has decided to come back for this film really goes to show like that he was convinced, he believes in the project. So I'm excited for what's to come. Anyways, that's my analysis. You know, this is my first analysis, my first reaction. So yeah. I'm just giving my ideas. Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully, yeah, you found them interesting. So thanks for watching. Like and subscribe and all that good stuff. All right. Bye.